Tony.
Hey.
Yes, every week.
Yeah.
We get it. You miss the music, Tony. Oh, man. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing well. It's just been another busy week. Being pulled in a lot of different directions. What can I say? Yeah, I see we got someone in chat that says, "Hello, sir. Love from India." Hello from the US.
Nice.
Yeah,
excellent.
very cool.
Good deal. Yeah. So you pulled in many directions. You got lots of stuff going on with work. Is that the story?
Yeah.
The story?
A lot of stuff going on with work. No, it's not always the story. Sometimes you hit that lull in work, where you have a little bit more time to focus on personal projects or other ways to help. But now it just seems like, it's like that feast or famine scenario, where, we're swimming in it. And I guess my particular skill set is needed on multiple projects.
Not such a bad thing.
Yeah, so I'm getting pulled in a few different directions. It's fun. I've had quite a bit of a lull lately, so it's great to come out of it. And, we're still coming out of the pandemic, in my area, and for my family, we're not out of it yet. So having many distractions with work and staying very busy is it's good for my mind. So I'm happy to take it on.
Yeah, there was some big news this week, right? I think it was after our last show, right? At least in the U.S., CDC apparently thinks that it's time to move on, which is, at least for those who are vaccinated, which is, super welcome news, right? After a long time.
Yeah, but this is something my wife said, and I just think this was a perfect commentary on that, which was, the CDC just spent the past year telling us that wearing masks isn't to protect ourselves, but it's to protect other people, right? Now they're saying if you are vaccinated, it's okay to not wear a mask. Well, wait a second. Do I need to not protect me anymore? Or do I need to not protect other people? So I feel like there's mixed messaging there. Am I wrong? Right?
So yes and no. So I think that I think there's a couple of things at play. I mean, I know we won't spend all night talking about the pandemic. I swear, I'm so tired of talking about this. But I think that there's an important, distinction here. I think that what the science is saying and what's changed is that vaccinated people are not conduits for spreading. Right. So you don't have to protect others by wearing a mask if you've been vaccinated. I think it is really the science that has changed that has prompted this decision, which is cool. I think the challenge, right, is that the portion of the population, right, wrong, or indifferent that has qualms about the vaccine, there's a pretty solid overlap with them and people who've not wanted to wear masks to begin with because they don't see how or they don't believe in the severity of what's going on, or they have a differing opinion about the severity of what's going on. And I don't I guess my thing is this, is it validates that, you know what I'm saying? It validates that idea that if even if you aren't vaccinated, it's going to seem like a tacit approval that we're just straight up done with masks, even though it's not what the CDC said. And my biggest concern is my kids. Right. So and it's been since the beginning, and I have two kids that are under 12. And with that, both of them have still are just as much at risk. Now, there's all kinds of debate about, what that risk really looks like. And I don't really know what to believe, right? To be honest with you, I don't know. There's a lot of people I think who really, really want kids to be immune from this, and they're talking a lot. And there's a lot of people who are saying, hey, kids aren't immune from this. And I don't know who to believe. I think that both or either side might have validity to their argument. But as a parent, I sit on the side of caution when it comes to my kids. And so we're still being careful, we didn't see this as a tacit approval just to let all restrictions go. But at the same time, my wife and I, if we wanted to go to dinner, I guess we could. You know what I'm saying? And not have to worry about masks at a restaurant or whatever. And that's cool. I really have been since the beginning of this, I want to follow the science. You know what I'm saying? Like ultimately, I just want to follow the science and what the science tells us. And there's been a challenge around understanding that that's going to change, right? Like as we learn new things, that the recommendations will change. A lot of people have struggled with that. I don't have a problem with that because it was completely new. We're going to learn new things. And as we learn new things, the recommendations change. And here we are, we've learned new things. The recommendations have changed, which is great. I think that there's the light at the end of the tunnel, and finally, it's not the train coming to hit us smack in the face, right? And that's a great thing. That's a fantastic news. And so I'm looking for it. Hey, John Duran's on. Hey, John, it's good to see you. I see Kevin Myers is on as well. Hey, Kevin. Green Girl. I know the name behind that. Why am I missing? Anyway,
the Green Girl and I were in San Francisco. San Jose. San Jose together for Network Field Day 23, something like that.
Nice. So that was a year ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
25 just happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, out there with a bunch of great people.
So that's cool. Other great news. My eldest got her first vaccine shot along the same lines with the pandemic. Yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah, I'm excited for her because of everyone in our family, she's the one who's had to give up the most. I'm an introvert that lives at home mostly anyway. I don't feel like I had to give up a ton during the pandemic.
You only come out at night to look at the stars?
Pretty much, yeah. Bring out the telescope. So I didn't lose a whole lot. My wife feels the same. Like we actually we feel like we've thrived during this time. We've done well. Not to say that don't have the same pressure as everybody else. Of course we do. But ultimately, like it's been a good year and a half overall. When you look back at it, it was just weird, right? It was just strange and different. My daughter is not that. My daughter is in middle school, has friends, those friends that are like, I'm never, ever going to leave these people friends. And she hasn't really been able to spend a lot of time with them. So they're all very excited to be able to hang out with each other. So the happiness, right, of her, like she was more giddy than I think I've ever I've seen of just about anybody, because it's like there is hope for her to see, the people that she loves and cares about other than us. Finally, after a very long time. And there's been some outside, right? But it's all dependent on the weather. Pennsylvania weather is not exactly the nicest weather in the world. So we our summers are harsh and we go straight from winter to summer usually. So there's not a lot of spring and fall. But yeah, so that's it.
Preston Roberts checking in from chat says when he gets a second shot, he's going to continue to wear a mask. Yeah, I got my second shot, I don't know, a month or two ago now. And I still wear a mask anytime I'm in, public, anytime where I can't be a safe 6 feet away. Even as recently as today, I still wear the mask if I can't do that. And again, like Jordan said, that's a family policy. Right. That's a family policy for us until we're ready to do something else.
Absolutely. But it's impossible to deny that it's some good news. I finally feel like we're reaching the end of this, and I would say much faster than I think that anyone could have really expected, considering past pandemics and the length of time they've taken to kind of get to this point. It's really exciting to be there. So you said work was good. Anything else going on? Anything else fun?
Yeah. This past weekend, I actually took PTO on Monday. So I went out to the mountains of Maryland, Western Maryland. Western Maryland sort of has this like weird panhandle shape that hugs the corner. There's actually a corner. It's like a tri-state corner of West Virginia, and Maryland. That section is actually Harper's Ferry. But it's in that region is considered the mountains of Maryland. Wisp is out there, a little ski slopes, ski resort. And there's a cabin I like to rent out there. And when I say cabin, some people think like I'm like roughing it in the woods in like a log cabin and like a one-room thing with an outhouse. But really, this is like a 5-bedroom log home.
Nice.
But I call it a cabin, and I just think that's kind of funny because I really love it out there. It's just beautiful. It's much different than where I live here at my house. There's woods everywhere. Just a couple of blocks away is Deep Creek Lake, and on the other side of Deep Creek Lake is Wisp, and so it's just a fun time. And I just thought about it this weekend, how like I would love to own a cabin in this area. Like I'm not so much of an outdoorsman that I need to go hunting for my food and foraging for things to eat and stuff to do. I'm the kind of guy who like, I need infrastructure. So like, I want to be in a cabin, but I still want to have Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? So that's what this was. It was a great little getaway. Again, we're still trying to avoid large crowds. So my nuclear family here at my house, and then my in-laws who live just a block away from me now. We all went up there and spent Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it was great. We just went on a hike. We saw some waterfalls, and it was just great to be out away from, I mean, we've all been locked up here, to get away from the house, to get away from the neighborhood. And it was just awesome. But yeah, I just kind of got thinking about it. Like, I really love the mountains. I really love the cabin, but I don't want to be out in the woods. Like, I still want to be within like a minute of a grocery store. And like that location where I am like the grocery store is at the end of the street. So like if I need something, it's right there. And that's what I like. But gosh, it was just great to get away for 2 days. I mean, I can't say enough about it. It has rejuvenated like my spirit and my soul. Like I feel new coming back to work this week. So it's been a lot of fun. But Friday, before I left, this is the big news. I've always had fiber to my house, but I had a very old ONT on the side of the house, and the maximum throughput that they would give me, I guess, or that box would allow was 100 up, 100 down. And so my plan was 75 up, 75 down. I know I'm like,
wow.
I realize like we're going to have someone on later who has like 5 megabit dial up. DSL, and I'm complaining about 75 up. But the big news is I just upgraded that to a bidirectional gig fiber to the house.
No big deal.
Symmetrical gig. And it's reasonable. I mean, it's a reasonable price. Why not?
I'm sure you're paying less for that than I am now. I have gig down, but it's all in coax, right?
I got symmetrical gig.
I have gig
fiber
down
to the home.
I have 45 meg up.
you can go look it up. There's no secret pricing. I'm paying $89.99.
Okay, so you're just slightly more than half of what I'm paying for mine. Oh, that makes me.
You see what I mean about infrastructure? Like, I don't want to be out in the cabin with no bars, man. Give me the fiber.
I hear you.
I want to be chilling in my log cabin with my 5G iPad. You know what I mean?
No,
like that's where I want to be.
I'll probably be moving once Starlink becomes mobile. I'll probably move to Starlink primary unless I find that service at home isn't very good, and then just take it on the road with me when we go. Speaking of being on the road, we took our second trip.
Congratulations.
Stretching our legs. In fact, we just got back today. And we took off. We were over the weekend. We were down in Assateague. So actually not super far from you. Yeah.
I was going to say, you keep like inching closer and closer. Yeah.
Yeah. So not far from you, out on the shore, on the barrier islands there, with the wild ponies, man. And let me tell you, that was an experience. So, everyone's like, oh, you'll see them from afar or whatever. No. Like, I don't know if we were just lucky or what the deal was, or if this was everybody's experiences, but whatever campsite we got must have been right along like the main path for this pack every single day. In fact, we had to run into our rig one day because they were starting to get a bit aggressive, and they were like literally around our fire pit as we're trying to make breakfast and hanging out around the fire in the morning. And so it was a wild experience, but man, there was just beautiful weather by the ocean. It's just hard to beat that. And like I said, stretching our legs from being able to work from the road. And so we went down over the weekend and then stayed through today. Worked beautifully, right? We talked about that quite extensively last week about kind of like what the setup was. And so got to really put it to use this week, and all is working well. So So yeah, that was our adventure. It's kind of the same thing. Like it's just like you said, it's rejuvenating and it's kind of refreshing because it was like we did that and it was just our primary family unit, right? But there's no masks for almost 6 days. Like we had to run into a gas station or something like that, and so that was the only time we had to wear a mask. So like the whole thing, it was awesome, just to kind of get out and kind of like do life without some of the drama that's been around. Anyway, So that was the fun, and got to put 500 miles round trip on the rig. So, it's not anywhere close to the 8,000 we're talking about doing in the fall, but we are definitely getting there. I got my first like really hairy situation with the trailer, which was of course, a rite of passage, trying to get it, situated, ended up over curbs and all kinds of fun stuff as the amateur towing person, right? So
I want to bring it up since I see a bunch of folks over in chat. Since I was just talking about I got my circuit upgraded at home, I kind of want to know what is everyone's go-to circuit testing tools. Maybe we should do a show on that or an episode on that. Yeah. But what's your go-to circuit testing tools?
Tony asked the question a little bit differently to me, and I thought the answer was obvious, and that was how do I max this thing out? Like, how do I make sure that I'm actually getting what I'm paying for?
Also, let me ask the correct question. Sorry to everybody. I got a gig. How do I max this thing out? How do I burn rubber on these tires, man?
Exactly.
Come on.
You got to experience it once. And the obvious answer is BitTorrent. Like, it's the obvious answer. And then Tony's like, I'd rather not be on that list. But hey, to each their own.
I think we've all been through the BitTorrent before, and I don't have to do that anymore. Bonding 2 phone lines for ISDN. So I don't want to know that pain.
So Laz says we got mentioned in the Zero Tier blog. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I had no idea. What is this, Laz? What do we get mentioned? I'm sure it's about our budding, the budding network collective cult around Zero Tier. Apparently we've done the appropriate level of indoctrination.
Hey, y'all got mentioned on Zero Tier's blog. Oh, okay. I was looking for that message. I had to scroll up and find it. Okay.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So
Preston Roberts says download something from Steam. In fact, I've heard I had a couple of people mention Steam and said that
they were bringing that up. That Steam it's really effective throughput to a lot of different places. We should ask Lindsay to set up a special connection for you so that you can peer directly and pull from the source.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not far from Ashburn, so let's see. Laz says he'll put the link in chat. I'm on their website. I'm kind of
curious how we got mentioned.
I'm on their website. I don't see their blog. Oh, here it is, blog.
Oh, look at that. It was January 29th. That was a while ago. Network Collective shows you how to connect to Google Cloud using Zero Tier. That was your series that you did.
Yeah. Oh, hey. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing it there.
Yeah, there you go. You're famous.
Well, says you too. Got Jordan Martin and Tony Fontes right there.
Guilty by association. You're the one who did the work. So congrats.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I still stand by it. I mean, Zero Tier, in my opinion, is the easiest and quickest way to do what I did, to do what I demonstrated. It is by far the easiest, quickest, and simplest. There's a million other ways to make it happen, but I think I demonstrated in the video very clearly that it was the quickest. And you just run a one-liner on your remote machine, and it's a done deal.
No, it is simple, except for when Tony tries to connect to my machine for whatever reason. That seems to be not something that works all that often.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Have you tested today, Tony?
No, I didn't. I've kind of like just thrown in the towel on testing with it. Seriously, I haven't. The past few streams, I haven't even joined our Zero Tier.
Quitter.
Oh, but I'm joined to my other Zero Tier. That's one thing about Zero Tier is like, it's so unobtrusive. You actually leave them on connected to tons of networks without realizing it, and then I look down and I'm like, connected to all these networks. All right, let me see. I'm connecting to Network Collective now. Let's see if I get the new nick. There it is. Okay, and then I'll try to log into the soundboard, which is right there. Hello, soundboard. Long time no see. And
Done.
Well done. I didn't press that. Tony must have pressed that.
I did it.
job.
I did it. Yeah, rock on.
All right, man.
Yeah.
So cool. So we've talked about the pandemic yet again. We've talked about my rig yet again. This is becoming a bit redundant. Why don't we?
Oh yeah, hey, I got a new book. Let's talk about that. I got a new
Buffer
book,
Bloat
a real
and Beyond.
Yeah, a real paper book.
Physical book.
You
Who
can
wrote that?
You can actually go on bufferbloatandbeyond.net. There might be some hyphens in that. I'm not sure. I'm looking for it if it's on the cover. It's not. This is Removing Performance Barriers in Real World Networks by Toke Hoyland Jorgensen. I'm sure I butchered that name.
It was a good try,
I'm not
though.
sure if that's Swedish or Finnish. I'm absolutely terrible at names, but it's really cool. It's a color print, so it's got a lot of like cool flow charts and things about how the kernel processes packets and how to bypass it, and XDP and sample code and all kinds of stuff, and some real deep dive TCP stuff. So I'm really into that, and you can go on there, download the full PDF for free. This is really I think a culmination of this guy's PhD thesis,
Okay.
and you can order a print copy for free. They'll ship it to you all the way from Sweden. Mine came.
That's fun. We'll have to.
Yeah, so I've just cracked the cover on it a little bit, so I kind of know what it's about, but I haven't deep dove any of the chapters yet. It just came in yesterday, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna get a couple of chapters in and hopefully give you guys a much more detailed review.
Awesome. Good deal. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
We should do some trivia. What do you think?
Let's do it. I'm in.
All right, let's do some trivia. So let me bring the screen up here for everybody. I think it's just the two of us. This should be it. All right, so I think most people watching, or at least most people who are participating in chat, are familiar. If you're not, we play trivia every week. This trivia is kind of a hodgepodge. There's a couple of tech questions mixed in, a couple of pop culture questions. We use Kahoot, so if you go to kahoot.it and put that code in, you can play along. And yeah. And Preston is on it. He's in. He's ready to go. Preston's going to win this week. I can just tell. Got the feeling. Maybe
All right,
last.
I'm sending out a tweet for that one. Let me see. And also, we do have a special guest joining us. I hope he's still on the line.
He is. I can see him on
the green
video
room.
here. Yep, he's in the green room.
And
Absolutely.
on our digital green room. So we do have a special guest coming up in just a little bit, John Campobianco. He's going to be on talking about his awesome automation projects he's been working on. I'm sure you've seen a lot coming out on Twitter about that. So stay tuned right after trivia for that.
Right after trivia. Green Girl is in. Leave no trace. Well, that's a familiar phrase. I wonder who that is. Leave no trace. Oz. Give everyone a couple minutes. Tony, you don't know these questions, so you can get in. There you are.
Yeah, I'm going to get in. Yep.
But you have to handicap yourself. You can't win, Tony.
I know. Nearly won by accident almost.
Preston says, I keep winning because I cheat. I want to know how Preston is cheating.
Maybe he has like OK Google. Oh, I hope I just turned on someone's
Yeah.
Google Home. Okay, Google. Buy more laundry detergent. Alexa, put laundry detergent on our shopping list.
So I see because I have John's screen share up that John is playing. I just want John to know, since he can hear us on the stream here, he's going to get about a 15-second head start above everybody else, but that may be negated by his internet connection. So I think, one bonded ISDN. Nice.
I think
nice.
that's Tom. Yeah, I think that's Tom.
And Merlin. One bonded ISDN. Yeah, Tom was talking about that, but John was also mentioning about installing ISDN as well.
Kevin Myers says, "Damn it, Tony."
Nice.
Did you guys see that story about the kid who ordered the 500 cases of SpongeBob popsicles or something?
Yep. Yeah, that was a fun
and his
one.
mom had to pay the bill about it.
There's also the one that, like, every time they do a news story, like the Amazon, right? Alexa had to add some tones into their advertisements. Oh, my Alexa's going off now. It's way in the other room, and I heard it. That's awesome. But I had to put some, like, there's the way that they make sure that their ads don't key it is there's a tone, I think, it's missing, or a certain frequency that's missing, that if they remove it, it's not something we hear. It doesn't respond. And so of course that frequency is not missing, like when a newscaster mentions something. And there's been all those stories about people ordering random things because they're talking about an instance where somebody else ordered all those things, and they say the words in the right order, and then bam, everybody's in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
It happens in my car. You know, I have Android Auto in my car, and anytime I'm listening to a podcast that mentions Google, it quickly mutes the podcast and like does the voice activation thing, and then it takes you to like 5 seconds before the podcast clipped out. So then it repeats that again. So it becomes like an endless loop. And
that's fun.
Recently they've got to the point where it won't do the loop. So I don't know if it's somehow aware of itself, right? That's cool. What we're worried about.
All right. Well, I'm going to get some music started. I know this is your favorite part. It's missing from the beginning of the show, but at least you get it during trivia, and then we'll get this going. No, wrong one. Let's get this going.
I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but like I just saw on the Twitter feed 5 hours ago, Paul Mooney, trailblazing comedian, dies at 79.
Okay.
And the only reason that's so like familiar to me is he plays on Chappelle Show. Remember the Chappelle Show, Dave Chappelle Show? Uh-huh. And he would play himself on there, and it was just absolutely hilarious. So sad to see him go.
My my audio is not playing. This is bad.
What, your music?
My music's not playing. Give me a second. Let me see if it somehow changed. It should not have changed. Was it cameras? Now I have to find the audio where I actually have brought it in.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, that's deserved right there. 100% deserved.
We're back. Fail. I got the power.
Oh God, what have we done? Here's Trivia Music 62. Okay, something about the shortcut didn't work, but here we go. All right, we'll get this rolling.
It's a good trivia song. It's a good bed music.
Yeah, I need to get some new stuff now if we're going to keep doing this because it's getting a little repetitive. Here we go.
Well, I just watched that this weekend. Oh, I love it. We watched it at the cabin. We had like a movie night, popcorn and all, you know. Oh, a word I can't pronounce.
Starting off easy with this one.
All right. I mean, we can guess. But yeah, we did a movie night, and we did Back to the Future. Oh, it was great. Sitting down with the family late at night, popcorn, M&Ms.
Hey, that was a lot.
Wow. Definitely split. I took the bait.
You can't trust the meme. I've told you this before.
Yeah, don't trust the meme. My daughter, who's my youngest, who's 1.5, absolutely loves Sesame Street. So I get my fill of Sesame Street every day.
All right.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know.
This was your question.
Have you seen? John Duran says, Tony, have you seen the censored count? The censored count? No, I guess not. Doesn't sound familiar. No, John Duran, I don't know what that is. The censored count?
And Preston says, Jordan, start beatboxing. And the answer is no. Well, we'll not be doing that. There we go. Bunch of right answers. And Oz is on fire. Love it.
Who's Oz?
Don't know who Oz is, but congratulations, they're on fire.
All right, I think I know that one. I think last time you asked a question like, how many black keys are on the piano? Like, some.
A number?
Yeah.
You
All
could
right, I
figure it out.
Yeah, I was going to
math.
say.
If you know the total number of keys, work your way backwards. Nice. Oz still killing it. Preston right in there. Green Girl not far behind. Definitely still has time.
Where did the pineapple plant originate?
A little bit of provocative content in that meme right there. So I want to know everyone's take. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
I don't care. I'll eat it. I won't order it, but I'll eat it. Wow.
Oz, man. Oz has it all figured out.
Okay. I think he said the censored count, John Duran said, and so I was looking it up. It's the count censored. So it's the count from Sesame Street, and it must be a illicit video.
Is it like unnecessary censorship like Jimmy Kimmel does?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, but
Okay.
I got it queued up for after stream.
There we go.
I'd rather have EIGRP in my network than pineapple on pizza. You can That's a good one.
John says probably not safe for work, so we're not playing that on the stream.
I don't know. This one. Yeah, this is tough. I'm guessing. Avengers. I want Avatar. I remember it made a ton of money.
Nope.
Not enough.
Oz didn't get that one. It's the first one Oz has gotten wrong halfway through the game.
Oh. I'll have you know, my favorite Disney movie, The Sword and the Stone. That's my favorite. I absolutely love that movie ever since I was a kid.
Really?
It's great. And that one came out in 55, I think. Jungle Book.
Distribution of answers there. Looks like Oz is back to the correct answer trend here. Tough to beat. Halfway through, just over halfway through.
Oh, I can't read it. What does it say?
It says, no, I don't need sunscreen. 3 minutes later.
Tom put something in chat, which is, I think Avatar is #1 worldwide and Endgame is #1 US. Not sure, though.
Thomas, always fact-checking my trivia, which is good. Needs to happen. Needs to happen. All right.
These are good ones. These are ones I don't know.
It's good. Oz is stepping away. Like, it's going to get out of control if someone doesn't get on this quick.
That's a good meme.
Nice. There's a bunch in that second place hunt. I don't know if there's enough to, unless Oz bombs the rest of this. I don't know.
Oh, I know this one. You boys are going down. First answer in.
Yeah, Tony. That's not fair.
I don't care.
Gotta do it anyway. Ooh. Bonded ISDN. Making a run for it. I like it.
And Preston too, right? Neck and neck.
Wow. Yeah, that is a close score. All right, here we go. Question 11.
I mean, do you trust the meme? I don't know. Should you trust the meme? I don't know.
Don't trust the meme.
I try to get my answer in right at the last second, so I don't take a big chunk of score.
So this isn't as crazy as it sounds, right? So Fort Knox, absolutely the correct answer. In the basement of a church in Allentown is actually where they stored the Liberty Bell during the Revolution. So they hauled it up, and there's a basement. I live near Allentown, right? And there's a church. It's now the Liberty Bell Church. So that, like, in the middle of downtown Allentown, you can go see where they stored it and all that. So whoever
but where's
that,
the Liberty Bell now? It's not the one that's on display. No, but it's not the one that's on display.
They moved it
I think the last time I was there, they said it was like a replica, and the real one is protected somewhere.
No, the real one is the one that's on display in Philadelphia. There are replicas. In fact, each state got one. After the Revolution, they all got replicas. And so, like, the Pennsylvania's replica is the one that's in the basement of the church. So there are a bunch of replicas out there, but no, the one that's there in Philadelphia, across from Constitution Hall, right across from right there.
Yep.
All right.
U.S. specific questions are not fair.
I did put in there specifically U.S., but yeah, who said that? Thomas?
Yeah, of course.
I figured. Yeah. All right, last one, last chance. I don't think you can get caught. I don't think you can get that many. I mean, maybe is it 2,000 points in the question if you answer right away? I don't know.
Who's Oz?
I don't know. But look at you with number 3, jerk.
How did I get number 3?
I don't know. Because
All right,
answer it right away. You smash the button
I
as soon
only
as it comes on.
one, just one. All right, I'll bomb this one.
I like that meme. Wow.
I would have gone Mercury.
Mercury
had
makes
I,
sense.
Had I made
Right.
a valid guess.
Mercury
Why
makes
isn't Mercury the hottest planet? It's closest to the sun.
Yes.
Wait, why isn't it?
Venus had a runaway greenhouse gas effect on the planet. And so the surface of Venus is much, much harder than any other planet. So there you go. Let's see.
Okay.
We're gonna find out who won. Oz. And look at you there. Look at you there on the.
I bombed. What do you want me to do?
I don't even know who was fourth. I'll have to go and find. So I don't know who Oz is or who Bonded ISDN is. I have.
I'm pretty sure
guesses.
Bonded is Thomas. I think.
have a good question. Is Thomas complaining about U.S. questions?
Yeah, but I think that was him because he said earlier in the chat he was talking about how he remembers bonding 2 ISDN lines two phone lines.
It wouldn't surprise me. Now, the problem, right, is the past few times that he's gotten in first or second, he can't stay on till the end of the stream. I don't know if that's true today as well. And now I don't know who third is as a backup. Preston says I was fifth. I wanted new people to win. If we can figure out who Oz is, and if we're right about it being Thomas being on Bonded ISDN, I don't know who was fourth. We'll try to work on figuring that out and see if we can't come up with it. We may have a second round. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But for those who did win,
Congratulations.
now it plays. What is going on? We're gonna gotta stop this.
Who? John Osmond. I'm Oz.
Okay, so John Osmond, since we have your chat now, we would like to do a second round of trivia. We like to invite the top 2 participants back on the show. And guess what? You're number 1. So if you would like to come on that second round, shoot me an email, jordan@networkcollective.com. And I will reply to that with the connection info. And we will we'll be doing the second part of the trivia shortly, just after we're done chatting with our guest. So speaking of guests, Tony. Tony, my friend, do you want to do an introduction here?
Yeah. I'll do a small introduction. Just before coming on live, Jordan and I was doing a little pre-planning, and someone kept coming up in my Twitter feeds, and I was like, let me reach out to this guy and see if he wants to come on and join us for a live stream. I met him a couple years ago at Cisco Live, and he's been doing a lot of really cool stuff with network automation. So I asked him to come on. Let's just chit chat, hang out, and see if he wants to talk about his cool projects he's been up to. So without further ado, John Capobianco, everybody. Where's my applause button?
Well, thanks,
Hey, John,
guys.
how are
I
you?
really appreciate the fun, and I'm doing great. So delay, and these guys are talking about their fiber optics. I am truly on a 5 meg DSL, so this is like walkie talkies for me. I'll do my best to keep up. But it's funny. I was following Tony. It's funny. He says I'm on his Twitter feed, but I was following his journey towards CCIE. I was totally fascinated. He was very open about his journey. And then I saw him. It was like in a movie scene. I looked up at Cisco Live, and across the pavilion, Tony's a pretty recognizable individual in a crowd. And he's standing right there. And I thought, well, let me go introduce myself to this guy. I kind of stalked Twitter following this CCIE journey. So we hit it off, and we had a few laughs, and we talked about our different interests and stuff. And yeah, so I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's almost exactly how I remember it. I remember. Yeah, I was at Cisco Live, and here was this guy who's much larger than I am. And you guys you never really know how big people are through the internet. But here's this guy coming to me who's much larger than I am. And you're Tony, right? I said, I am.
I don't know who's asking.
And John was an absolute pleasure to meet and chat with. It was very cool. So I wanted to bring you on because I know you got a lot of. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to quickly say hi to everybody, and I don't want, in case you don't know me, why is this guy even on here? So I'm a 20-year IT professional. I'm currently in IT. I built the Canadian Parliament's Next Generation Network, two-time CCNP Enterprise Data Center Design Professional, Microsoft Enterprise Admin. I'm really heavily involved, but what I really loved and when I really started to get engaged with the community was around the automation and programmability and this new open source, sharing our experiences and sharing our solutions. We've really formed a community, I feel like, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's very cool. And John, let me see, you have a book out on Amazon, right? That I know people are picking up your book every now and then they'll post about it in Twitter. And that book is on what? Python or automation or Ansible? What's the subject matter of that publication?
Yeah, so that's the book, and
there it is. Yeah,
I took this picture at that same Cisco Live we met at. So that's where the story behind the monkey is. It was my first time to the San Diego Zoo, and so that's it. My link is to DevNet where they introduced me to Ansible. So the book is primarily about Ansible and network automation, but if you can swap out, say, Python with Ansible. Now, you won't have the examples. It's an Ansible-based book, but the theme of approach automation, the tools you're going to need, data models and templates and configurement and capture. And so I think it's still relevant. Now, Ansible's moved on to things like roles and collections and, right, some of the things Ansible's added over the years are not necessarily in the book. But in the past 6 months, maybe 4 months or so, I've pivoted more to a pure, I thought I would launch my own open source project and try to write my own network automation solutions based on the PyATS framework from Cisco and Python. Mm-hmm. That's why you see me constantly posting on Twitter recently and lately is it's really an open source project. So if you're looking get into network automation, and I'll do a quick demo here. I'm happy to share code. If you want to write Python, if you want to just work on your HTML and practice your front end, there's opportunities to write CSS, JavaScript, HTML, Python, Jinja, you name it, right? The project covers it. And so let me quickly show you something that I think is neat and let you talk and sharing. So this is on github.com, Automate Your Network, and it's called Merlin. And Tony, you mentioned, I wrote it down, that you're a big Sword in the Stone fan. You're going to love this project. Yeah,
it's true. Merlin is the wizard from Sword in the Stone. It's my favorite Disney movie. Ever since I was a kid, I watched, all the Disney movies as a kid growing up, or all the ones that I had access to. And I always went back to Sword in the Stone. And to this day, when people ask me, I have 3 kids now, so now I've seen all the current Disney and Pixar movies as well, and I'll still say by far Sword in the Stone is my absolute favorite. It's just I just love the story. I don't know, there's nothing I can say about it. I mean, it's great. It's absolutely fascinating.
I agree, and there's the 83, 81, early 80s called Excalibur. That was my first knights and kings and wizards, and I've always just been fascinated with it. So when we run it, you'll see some ASCII art I use as little flags as placeholders in the code. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So what you'll see on the screen is a Cisco Dev Sandbox. So if you haven't used, right, if you don't have the gear, I don't have a Nexus 9K environment right? So I use the free open sandbox, and let's just use a quick example of VLANs. So you can see it has, right, it comes with 5 or 6 base VLANs configured. And we can do the whole CLI thing, right, of config T, add a VLAN, add a name, line by line, the manual way, right? So that's what I'm trying to solve. So here's my approach, is I make a data model. And this might be hard to see. I apologize. I wonder if there's a way for me to big. But anyway, I have sections of code, and we're going to look at VLAN. So this is a YAML file, and I just describe the VLANs like a human-readable dictionary. So I have VLAN 1, and it doesn't have a name. I have VLAN 100, name management, etc. So now for the CLI, the second piece, what I use is what's called a Jinja 2 template. And I'll show you what VLANs looks like. And it's very simple, but this is where you're going to find your iteration logic, so a for loop on the outside to loop over each of these, right? And then I have an if statement to say if name, meaning if it's not false. VLAN 1 doesn't have a name, right? So I make that false, and the operate, if else logic comes in. So then what I do is with the Python, I'll show you real quick. I'll show you the Python, and then we'll run it. I use the Jinja 2 template to first capture the configuration of the device. So get a pre-change snapshot, and then create and generate the intent, where I use this feature in Python called render, which renders these two files together, that Jinja 2 template and the YAML data model. And then I use the PyATS framework to say .configure the device with that rendered config. So now I haven't changed anything. So what it should be what's called potent. And I'm going to maximize the screen, and you're going to see some fun Excalibur related ASCII art. Speaking of Merlin, you should see a giant Merlin head all colored in. I want to make a special comment to Rich is an open source. Yeah, so here it is in a second. See that? I'll back it up. Oh, hang on. Is my VPN down? No, my VPN is up. No. Well, that's not good to bomb. Sped Connect. So there's the Python, or the, let me pause and show you the ASCII because the demo didn't work. It's having trouble. I'm wondering if I'm overloading my DSL too much. It's having trouble connecting to the device. Yeah. Well, I can't do the demo. Let me try a different demo through the API instead of through the SSH. Well, that's really unfortunate. So what it would do normally is let me try the API call and see if maybe it's lighter weight than through the SSH. Yeah, so that.
Yeah, and for anyone who's listening, John literally is on a DSL connection way up north of us, and his connection's coming down to probably Jordan's house before it's pumped back out. So. Yeah, there are some challenges. There are some real networking challenges we had.
Well, this is good. This was a good demo. So let me just describe what I've done here, and we'll go over a little bit. So the original demo, what I was going to show you was when we use SSH for automation, some people like this, and this goes full with something like the iOS config module, or for the NXOS config module, or if you're using Python at the SSH level, you're really just simulating a human being typing the configs line by line. So the problem with that approach and an intent-based approach is that example. Let's say I have 10 VLANs and I push 10 VLANs. That's great and that's healthy. If I want to add 5 VLANs, no problem. Still works great. Here's where the problem comes in. What if I want to remove a VLAN? Well, that Jinja template I showed you doesn't have the no VLAN command, right? So if I remove 2 VLANs from month, I either need a follow-up step that I write and have to handle the removal of the 2 VLANs that I deleted, or I need a manual step where someone logs into the CLI. Now, what I've just shown you here is using the REST API. So what I did was I ran it, and you can see the nights are both green and green, meaning my intended config matches my running config. So
it's like an organ trail while configuring a network. It's full ASCII art.
It really is. It really is. And so here's what we would do in Postman, right? I just have to refresh my token real quick. So Nexus has the NX API, which lets me, what's going on? There we go. I just needed to refresh my token here.
Yeah.
So it's a little different than a serial where you just log in with admin and password. I need to first get a token, and then we use the token to authenticate our API call. So now what you're looking at on the screen is the API version of what the VLAN section looks like. So you can see that it's known as an L2BD, a layer 2 bridge domain, and then they have different attributes. Well, in my code, remember the first template I showed you? It's still probably open, maybe not. Well, so the data model doesn't change. This is what I love it. But instead of templating my VLANs like this for the SSH for the terminal, I template them like this. And I have that L2 bridge domain, and then the different attributes that I pick and choose from either the VLAN or the name. So now I've already ran this once, and we saw that it was idempotent. Well, let's affect change. And I'm going to say 10 name, thanks for the invite. Save it. And now that's all I have to do. And everything else, when you have to configure a network, all I've had to do is add it to the data model. And now I'm going to rerun the code here, hands-free, not cheating. And what we should get now at the very end is a red night and a green night, and it should say, actually, you've changed the configuration. And then it should give us the differential as to what we've pushed to the network. If everything is still running, it looks like it might have choked. No, the VPN is still up.
So my question is, how much time was spent?
I do apologize.
How much time was spent developing the tool?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, how much time was spent developing the tool versus how much time was spent on the ASCII art? Because this is some high quality ASCII art.
That is a very valid question. So I grew up on a 2400 baud modem on an x86 286, and all we could do back in those days was ASCII art. So I'm trying to bring the art form back. It's a renaissance of ASCII.
Nice.
So let's see what's happening.
So what you're saying is you've upgraded once since then to your DSL?
That's right. Sometimes it feels like a downgrade. At least with the modem, I got to listen to the pings and the pongs when it connected. They took that away from me.
They took the fun part away, but they kept the frustration of slow bandwidth. Here we go.
All right. So now at the end, I get a warning there are changes, and I can see that it has done the +10. And if this doesn't choke, if I do show VLAN, hey, look, there's VLAN 10. Thanks for the invite. Now, what I love about using the API is that I can just scrub that, save this file, and rerun the code. And again, it's not going to be idempotent, so I should get a red and a green night. And then that VLAN will just disappear. It'll be gone. Without ever touching SSH, right? Now, yeah, I've done VLANs, but this can be routes, BGP, VRF, loopbacks, interface, you name it, right?
I love all these scenes you're putting in there. They're full scenes.
Well, I I had some fun with it. And again, you can suppress all of this. And if I show you the time command, it doesn't lie, right? The time command will tell us how long this actually spent in CPU. So even with the latency and the lag, I'll show you the CPU time that this took. But yeah, we can use out the ASCII, and in PyATS, you can run it in silent mode where you don't get any syncing to the screen. It's just, would just run and be done. But so that's just a couple of things there. It's run and it's removed VLAN 10. And if I do this show VLAN again, VLAN 10 is gone. And so I can actually all I need to worry about is this file where I define VRFs or SVIs or interfaces or whatever. I pass it through a Jinja 2 template, and then I use the REST API to push the config. So that's that's just one of the things that I'm doing.
Did I see that the golden image was the Holy Grail? Is that what it said?
Yes,
like
golden image grail. It is.
Yes. Very nice.
So the Holy Grail actually, I've integrated a
screens here.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all good.
Can I stop sharing?
Yeah, here I'll just drop it back to us. Yeah, here we go. We're good.
All right, yeah, because I'm all done with the demo. So the Holy Grail actually is a bit of a placeholder for. I've integrated. I don't know if you've heard of TinyDB. It's a NoSQL document database.
Okay.
So what I can do, because it's all JSON, TinyDB takes JSON in as tables. So, and you don't need a server. It's not MongoDB where you actually need a server to ingest. You just instantiate a database, and then you can fill it with JSON tables, and then it works like any other database that you can query or build a front end for or whatever. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the. Thanks for bearing with the connectivity issues and this. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And John, I wanted to bring up something else, another project that I think it was you who did recently. Was it you who did the where the network is talking back at you?
Yes. So that is a feature that I could have shown you today. Maybe in another, in a couple of weeks, or if you want to have me back, I could. If you give me your phone numbers, we can set that up. So I was doing was. This is a true story. I played World of Warcraft pretty heavily for a while there, and I was in the middle of a pretty intense raid, and I had Discord going with 30 people in the raid, and my phone was ringing off the hook. Finally, my wife walked into the room and kind of held the phone beside me and said, "Are you going to answer the phone or not?" Right? And I said, "Okay, fine, I'll answer it." And I let the raid know I got a phone call. It turned out to be work, and there was like a P1 going on, and they were desperately trying to get a hold of me for about 20 minutes, and I just wasn't answering. So my wife says to me, "Wouldn't it be great?" Now, this is a marital thing more than anything, and I can, wait for 12 years, went together with her for 20, so I can see through the lines, read between the lines. She says, "Wouldn't it be great if we, the collective we, could get a hold of you through Discord somehow?" And that was my inspiration. I thought, yeah, hey, you know what? Discord actually has a webhook. I could maybe make it where if the network has a P1, it could trigger an API call. So when I'm raiding, it just pings me in Discord. And I got that working. Discord actually has a very easy to use webhook where you can make an API call and send. So what I do is for the talking demo, I plug a virtual in that DevNet cloud. I run the Merlin code against it. It detects that the interface is not in an up state based on the JSON. So I'm looking at the JSON key value pair, and if it's not up, then send the Discord message. And then it's funny, once it was in Discord has, like, if you actually click on a message you get in Discord, there's a small menu that says play message, and it will play the message for you. And that led me to, I kind of went, hey, what if I could send the text that I'm sending to Discord that says, hey, John, interface 2 has been disconnected, to a text-to-speech API. And there's actually tons, they're called ES services or APIs. Google has one, Azure has one, there's third parties. So then I had that working where, hey, John, interface 1 has been disconnected, is now an MP3 file that's in a human audio, either male or female, and in any language that I want. So then, and then I build on that even further to your point about the phone call. Someone on Twitter saw the MP3 thing and they said, hey, you should try Twilio. Have either of you guys heard of Twilio?
In passing,
yeah.
I've never used it.
MMS. It's like I always thought of it as a large backhaul for messages for MMS and stuff, which it is, but they have a public facing kind of like consumer division. And I had it working in 10 minutes. I signed up for an account. I wrote a little bit of code, and then, that message, hey, John, interface 1's been disconnected. I sent the MP3 via Twilio to my phone, and the phone rings, and I press 1, and it says, hello, John, interface 1 has been disconnected. And it was like, holy cow, is that ever cool and fun, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
dragged my office
super
with
awesome.
the video camera, and I made her make a whole video of it that I put on the internet, and then, I've done subsequent things for it. But I know it sounds fun and like a novelty thing, but could you imagine that if your phone just rang and said, hey, you've just lost OSPF neighbor XYZ, or hey, right, there's a 0-day attack against your router, right, immediately in real time to your phone in any language you want. I think that's an actual thing that could be part of our landscape.
Yeah, it truly was presented like a project and a novelty concept, but you're absolutely right. There's like real application behind that. I mean, I know I've turned up a new circuit for one of my remote sites, and within 2 days we had a 17-minute outage, and I didn't have monitoring turned on that site yet. So immediately, now I have monitoring on that site for everything that I can monitor. But wouldn't it have been nice at 4 a.m, I got at least some awareness. Right now I'm still tracking dashboards, but wouldn't it be nice if it reached out to me in a way that I would receive it? Because, I think we've all had like webhooks and things throwing stuff in Slack channels for a long time. But if you throw a bunch of things in there, right, it just becomes noise and like nothing has priority at that point. So it really is like just giving you what is a priority, right? Yeah.
Well, I think
that's very cool, John.
I haven't done the next
go ahead.
step, but I think it could have, like, Twilio is a full REST API platform where, okay, so interface 1 is in a shut state, or that's the message I get. Press 2 to no shut it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that there's more of a feedback loop coming where I could press 2 and that spins off my Docker container that runs my PyATS job that no shuts the interface for me, right? I don't know. Like, I really think that's within the realm of the possible, right?
Wow.
I think it's within the realm of the possible. I think the challenge is anticipating all the things that you may need to do. So I think it's cool as a demo, right? I think from a practical tool perspective, we're a long way off, only because of the fact that you need the code available to do what the remediation is already developed and sitting there waiting for you to kind of go at it. So for common things, reset the interface, or, reset a BGP neighbor, or do something like that. Sure. You can absolutely make that happen. It's just a matter of programming and, I make it sound simple. Yeah, just throw some code at it, but it's obviously involved. But it's not right. But it's not impossible. It's absolutely possible. I think the challenge in all of this is it's cool, but it's still kind of trivia until we could put some intelligence behind it and some flexibility. And I think that's where a lot of this like AI and ML and these new trends are trying to go there. I don't know how advanced we're really going to get. I have questions in my head about how intelligent we can make machines. But I think some of that is,
Right.
I'm tired of really lofty promises that never come about. I think that we're seeing real solid development when we look at some of the tools that are out there around AI and ML. And we can argue all day about whether those names are really artificial intelligence or really machine learning, but whatever. They're making tools that are giving the machines more autonomy in kind of running some of these things. And as we continue to develop that future becomes even more and more possible, right? It's really then just connecting the things together. How do we put a human into the loop and make it as easy for the human as possible to say, yes, please do remediate that, and then have the machine go do what needs to be done.
Right.
I feel like in that future, Jordan,
how you connect it.
I was going to say, Jordan, in that future, I see like, human beings just being yes, no machines, right? We're just there to flip a 1 and a 0.
I think.
Do you want to put this interface up? Yes, no. Do you want to bring this BGP peer up? Yes, no. Do you want to do that? Yes, no. So like the logic and everything is already taken care of. The code, talking to devices, understanding how changing this device will affect the next upstream device. That's already been pre-calculated. It's just a matter of not if the human wants to say, yes, I accept this change.
I think that if you were to talk to the people who are developing this, I would take it to another step further and we could just remove the humans altogether, right? Like, I think that's the end goal of a lot of these systems is to do just that. My hesitancy is that, I'm never going to say nothing. If something is impossible, we continue to make dramatic improvements in computing over very short periods of time, and it continues. What was impossible 10 years ago is now possible because things change. We're just nowhere near that being reality, right? Like the computers being able to model and understand complex changes. Like that's why the human's in the chain. But right now the challenge is the human's in the chain, and then we're asking the human to do a lot of trivial intermediate steps. It's not just a human making the decision about whether this is the right remediation action, but then they have to actually go type something in. They have to go do something. And that's where mistakes happen. So mistakes happen at two parts of the problem is, are we taking the right action? And then are we executing the action correctly? Executing the action correctly is easy to solve for. That's what automation is solving for now. And that is, don't do it by hand. Use something else. Use some tool to make sure that you don't mistype the VLAN or mistype a name or mistype something like that. Make sure you're using a tool so you have a consistent, repeatable process every time you do it, so that when you go to add, remove, change, it's all this consistent, state in the network that you can work with. The other piece, the logic piece, is we're much further off from, at least I think. And maybe I'm being hopeful. Maybe I'm looking at this and saying, you need to hold off for about, another 20 years until you can take my job through automation. But I don't see it. I don't see, because until networks become straight up commodities, and I'm not talking about the hardware, I'm talking about the design, I'm talking about the way that we use them, the traffic that flows across them, until that's all commoditized and consistent end to end, you can't automate the logic out of it because everyone has unique constraints that we don't have systems to solve for, right? Because at the end of the day, and I'm gonna, if anyone's listening who's really into AI and ML, they're gonna hate this. I just already know it. At the end of the day, we're asking computers to make a decision. Is it yes or is it no, right? Like on everything, we have to present the components, and the computer has to make the decision. And what we try to do is we try to make sure that the computer makes the appropriate decision for questions it's never been presented with before. And that is the challenge. But it's still one question. We're not even through the part of solving one question consistently when we have a new question that hasn't been asked before. Forget about, okay, so you answered yes to that. Take it to the next level. What happens here? And these 8 things that surround it that this can affect. Now we're going to ask those 8 questions and understand the implications of that and go downstream of that. It's like we're so far away from this idea of a super automated future to the point where it's like engineers aren't needed. I think that where we're at is exactly what John is doing, and that is like, let's give ourselves the tools so that we can think at a higher level rather than having to operate in the mundane all the time. Like, to give ourselves the tools so we can automate this, so we can have consistency, so we can have whatever. AI and ML will get there. And Juniper is like fuming right now as they have Marvis and all the stuff that they're working on. And Cisco has all their AI ML stuff that they're working on too. As they go, no, it's AI and ML, but ultimately it's automation and orchestration. And it continues to get smarter and smarter and smarter. And maybe 20 years from now, we'll be talking about that, and I can retire and you can take my job then. But until then, no, I don't buy it.
John, I wanted to wrap up with you here shortly, but I wanted to plug your book again because, and I wanted to point something out. You did something very awesome on Twitter. So your book, Automate Your Network, available on Amazon. We put the link in the show chat on YouTube. But also recently there was some folks that weren't able to get your book because of either country regulations or policy, and they aren't able to access Amazon to actually buy your book. They wanted to buy it. They wanted to pay you for it, but they didn't actually have a way to do that. And so you went ahead and gave away copies of your book and sent them over there for people who can't actually buy them because of
that's cool.
Country regulations, policies, or anything else. So I just wanted to say that was a really awesome thing. And that raised an issue that I didn't even know existed, right? This is the freedom of information age, right? Where everything we want to know is at our fingertips across the internet. And I forget that there are still places that don't have access. It's not that they don't have access to the internet. They have access to the internet. They reach out to you on Twitter. They can't even legitimately buy something because of government or regulations or policy. And so you did an awesome thing by sending the books, and that's very cool. So awesome, dude. Really, really awesome. Awesome projects, and you're doing a great thing for everybody out there.
Well, thanks. And while we're on the topic, so I was celebrating 3,000 followers on Twitter, and I just put it out there that, and this is to anyone listening today or anyone who sees the stream down the road. If COVID's affected you in a way that you just can't afford the book or you don't have the disposable income, if you're a student, if you are in the developing world, if you're in a country that bans the sale of the book, to me on Twitter and ask, I'll send you a PDF. Just on the spot, you'll get one, okay? It's not about the money or the sales. I wrote the book out of passion. I am this animated. I'm a crazy guy like this. Follow my Twitter. I am manic about automation and technology. And listen, I used to drive a fork truck and strap steel toe boots on for 12-hour night shifts in an aluminum factory. I've raised myself out of that level of in society through technology, and I want to help other people get there too, right? But I was stunned, Tony, like to your point, it was very emotional to me that in this day and age that people are access to knowledge and could actually maybe get in trouble if they're caught with copies of the book. I could not believe it. So I said, right, like take it and give it away. Like here's the PDF, just take it and give it away. Let's help the world become a better place, you know?
Yeah, it's very cool. And to that, I'll say that if there's anyone watching this stream who wants to reach out to me or me through the Network Collective Twitter, I'll buy the book and send it to you if you need it. If you can catch this stream, I will hook you up with a copy of John's book. I'll go on Amazon and ship it to you. You will just connect via DM. I'll take care of that for anybody who needs it. All right. If you want to go ahead and support John, his work, and so he can do even more awesome things, go buy the book and also just give him a follow on Twitter. Support his projects. Check out his GitHub. Commit to his code. You know, let's all help each other out. John has been giving back a lot, so
he needs more ASCII art. I'm telling you.
That's true. That's true. You probably need he's going to need a full-time ASCII artist at this point.
Yeah, I mean, got to let John focus on the important stuff here, and someone's got to do the art.
Maybe when I get there, I'll connect all the dots and make an ASCII-based game that will foam like a murder mystery, and your phone rings when the killer gets in your house or something.
You know what? Like I could see this as kind of being, you know, as you go through and become more mature through your automation efforts, you get more and more of these things revealed. They become more in depth. There's like a whole story or plot line behind ASCII art as you continue to start using new modules or new components of the tool. more reveals itself until you are the full-fledged automation expert and you know the secrets, all of the secrets to the story. See, there you go. Get some real drama behind the process of learning a new way to do things.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, John, we're going to jump off
just
here.
Out of curiosity,
we're going to. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, John, go ahead.
Hey,
go ahead.
How much
Ask your
Python?
question.
How much automation? Or how much are you guys diving into? Are you doing a lot of it yourselves?
Ooh. I'm very shallow. Let me start off first. I'm very, very shallow. I'm in the kiddie pool. In fact, I've just started to dip my toes into the kiddie pool of Ansible because I have a real problem to solve, a very minor problem. But again, that's how I learn, is making it immediately applicable. And I'm actually just struggling to get the components to work with each other, just to get Ansible sort of working on a little VM. I think I understand some of the basic templating, the how to lay out the YAML, how to use the module to talk to the device that I need. I think I've read everything that I can. I've prepared as much as I can, but actually executing, I'm having some trouble. So I'm looking forward to reading your book and actually learning a bit more. Python, I know a little bit of Python, very rudimentary, very basic, but I haven't leveraged it for network automation. I've used it for just data manipulation, being able to run over a file and change things for me or parse out different areas. So leveraging it for things that I can't do with a bash script, but Ansible is how I'm dipping my toes into network automation, and I am in the kiddie pool, man.
He's wading in. So for me, I am a hack of a scripter. I've done a fair amount with Python, but I am by no means a programmer. So I've had an interesting path here, or at least I feel it's a bit interesting, because I feel like when we talk about automation, we talk about it a lot from the perspective of the operator, the network operator, someone who owns a network or owns an environment. You can build a playbook. The playbook is steady. It's something that is going to be iterative and change over time, maybe lives in a repo. As you make changes, it kind of puts controls around those changes when it comes to organizational structure around automating their infrastructure. For the past... now I have to do math. 8-9 years, I've worked in a reseller. I work in a place where I consult a lot. And so when I walk in, the only time I ever see that is when my customer is doing that, right? Like I don't ever have the opportunity to kind of build that up. So like from an Ansible perspective, I've done some, but not a lot. What I've done a lot with is writing Python to automate a lot of the stuff I do at customers, right? So like when I go into a customer, I'm not on delivery anymore, but I used to like do a big switch refresh, and I'm trying to extract all of the data from 150 switches at a customer's environment, in one of their campuses or something. I get all the IPs, I get all the credentials. I write a script to go extract all that all. I write a script to translate that into what the new configs are going to be, and then I apply it to the switches kind of in a manual fashion, because I'm not going to be using Ansible because it's not the tool that they use to manage their stuff. So I'm not going to go build their playbooks for them just to have them trashed after it's all done, right? And so I just build the tools that are necessary. So I've done a lot of that. So I've done a lot of the what is considered the dirty work with Python when it comes to using screen scraping and some of those other components to really extract some of that data rather than in some structured way, because I work in a lot of inconsistent environments, different code levels, those types of things. And so I kind of feel like I missed out a bit on this. Now, what I do now in my job is I help out occasionally when in building some labs. And so when I build labs, it's kind of fun because I do get to get my hands on the automation, but I've been doing more around cloud networking. So I've been using tools like Terraform. And so right. Yeah. So I definitely understand the structured data and how to extract and pull information in and pull that to an automation playbook. It's a little bit different than using Ansible. So I still feel like in Ansible, I'm kind of like noob. I've done a little bit in labs, but I've not really done a whole lot of practical. From Python, my hands are dirty enough that I can work around it. I've got some scripts. I've helped some other people get some things done, right? So that's a nice feeling when you can do that. But I'm certainly not anyone that should emulate my programming, right? It's good enough to get the job done, but I'm definitely not writing for a broader audience. I have a few things up on GitHub where I was like, hey, this was cool, and maybe someone else will like it, and other people have used it, and that makes me feel like, hey, that's awesome. Someone got some value out of something. But yeah, not too often, because it's an interesting dynamic when you're essentially coming in as the mercenary and you don't own the environment. A lot of the way that automation gets talked about is about putting structure around the management of an environment that you're working on regularly. And so unless that's your role in the reseller, which where I work has a group that does that, which is a lot of fun, right? But it's not my role because I talk around some other components, right? So yeah, it's interesting, but I do think I'm seeing it more. And what I'm seeing more is our customers asking about it. So it's no longer like us as people who are deeply ingrained and involved and talking to the vendors often and seeing what they're bringing to the table. Now it's our customers who are saying, we use Ansible. So whatever we buy from you or whatever we're considering from a solution, like one of the criteria for analysis when we're looking at this new environment is how does it work within our automation environment that we already have in place? And I'm like, wow, like that is what has changed, is we're starting to hear that part of the conversation more and more often, which is really encouraging because it's like, okay, people are starting to get the message and people are at least building, even though they may be immature, but they're starting down the road and they're starting to build automation processes around what they do, which is cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing the perspective from other people. And Tony, you're on the right path, man. It'll take a little bit of time, but I'm always here to help too. If you just reach out and if you need any help getting something like that. And I want to thank you for the invite tonight and helping me, make awareness to my project and my book and everything. This was a lot of fun. I'm always around. Just reach out. I'd love to come back. And you guys stay safe out there during this pandemic and everything.
All right, John. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Tony, I think you're muted if you're talking. Can you mute yourself? He did it.
I did. Yeah.
And that trombone was himself. True. He did it to himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. John, absolutely a pleasure. Thanks for coming on. You guys don't know. John just like banged out a demo. He gave an awesome presentation. I asked him like 5 minutes before we went live, like, hey, do you want to come on and chat about your projects? I know you got a lot going on. I mean, it was like unbelievably well delivered. So you did an awesome job. We're gonna drop you, and we're gonna do our second round of trivia. So feel free to hang out in the no second round of trivia. No second round. We're gonna do Naked Hardware. We're gonna do Naked Hardware soon. So feel free to hang out in the chat, John, and John. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Jordan's giving me the no from the sidelines.
So both of our first place and second place participants could not make a second round of trivia, so we're just going to call it. That was it.
That's cool. So then who got first? Oz.
Yes, Oz, and he's in Slack.
Okay, so John Osmond. Okay,
yeah, John Osmond. He's in the Slack, and if you look in general, he was chatting. So if we want to make a connection with him,
all right, cool.
That's there. So yeah, that was cool. I'm with you, man. Like you asked John to come on, like you told me, it's like, hey, do you mind if I ask John, like as we're prepping for the show? I'm like, sure, why not? And then he came on and was like, clearly he knows his stuff, right? Because it was just step right into it. Let's talk about it. Oh yeah, I've got a live demo. Let's do that. That was cool.
Yeah, it was great. I ordered my book, so I got John's book coming to me.
It looks like Preston did as well. Nice.
Come to me. Yeah, it looks like and Laz grabbed the Kindle version.
Oh, nice.
And I think Green Girl's already. She said she already has that one. She already has the book. I think if I understand the chat properly. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. You know, like I mentioned to John, I'm just getting started, and that'll be a great resource for me to thumb through. I really have like too much on my plate right now. I have like stacks of books everywhere, but that's okay. I'm not one for just sitting down and reading cover to cover. I like to just thumb through when I need something.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, man.
Yep.
Well, I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule, but I think that's all right. I think I've had a long day. Like I said, I started my day down near you. I made my way back up. Yep. I worked a full day, put together the trivia for today. I'm all right if we end a little bit early. So I think it's that time, Tony.
Let's hit it. Sorry. Yes. Welcome, everybody. This is Naked Hardware on Network Collective Livestream. This is the part of the show where I show you a networking appliance without its chassis, without its cover, and you get to see all the bytes and bits inside. So I'm going to start off by showing you last week's Naked Hardware image, and then going over the folks who placed their guesses on Twitter. Using the hashtag Naked Hardware on Network Collective's Twitter account. And so this was our image from last week. I had made the offhanded comment that in my previous career, my previous employer, I went around site to site, swapping out these boxes for another box, a box that I think Preston in the Network Collective Slack and here in YouTube chat knows a lot about. So we would swap the red for the white. So if anyone has been around small, medium business, I think is the only places I've seen these. I could be way out of my league there by making such a blanket statement. But these small, medium business red boxes are typically these here. Come on, baby. Here we go. The WatchGuard Firebox, or they have many different names. Typically, the Firebox, and that very on-brand red paint job.
Bright red paint job. This is the first firewall brand I ever worked on. It was So we'll pull it back up in a minute, but this is the first the Firebox. Oh man! And again, this is 20 years ago. I worked at a community bank. Community bank doesn't exist anymore, so it's not a big problem to talk about their security infrastructure. It would have been a risk to talk about it if they still did exist, because that's how advanced they were with technology at the time. And for as long as I knew them, they were technology averse, but they needed this firewall for some VPN connections and some other things. And I wasn't in networking necessarily. This might have been the very first networking device I ever worked on. Was a WatchGuard firewall. So I saw that red, man, it was immediately back to, I know exactly what that is. And then you gave too much. You gave too much of a hint, I think, because then you mentioned that you replaced the Preston's devices with these, or vice versa, these with Preston's. And
yeah,
like,
these with Preston's devices.
Right. Yeah. So I knew that it was a firewall. So it's some fond memories and some still painful frustrations from when I managed these devices.
So I did say last week, and I said it just now, I used to go around from office to office. It wasn't my only job, wasn't the only thing I did, but we did them often, so it seemed like it was never ending. But I would swap out these. I called it reds for whites. Does anyone know what the white box is? And I haven't had any pictures of white boxes. What I'm actually saying is a white box, like a for real white box. Does anyone know what they are over in YouTube chat? We'll see. But I just wanted to zoom in on this one. There's some vent holes along the top, and they look pretty gummed up. I don't know if there's a filter in place or if that's all dust in the vent holes there. Yeah, normally when I found these, there was a half an inch layer of dust on them because they were tucked away in the shelf of an upper closet where all the network wires were, and there was an access point thrown in there, and it was set it and forget it is what it was up there for. And they were pretty disgusting. And you know what? We sent them to the e-cycler and we never repurposed them. You know, sometimes when I went to an office that had like a decent piece of equipment, I'd like to repurpose it maybe for my own project for myself. And those WatchGuards, those fireboxes went straight to the e-cycler. And no one wanted that crap.
I will say
yeah.
Dust acts like a perfectly good filter once you get enough of it. Just saying. You said like it was an either or thing. It could be both. It could be both a bug and a feature.
You're right. You're actually right. I wasn't thinking about that. Preston in chat says they used to be an ugly blue. That's right. The white boxes I'm thinking of used to be like a dull blue, almost grayish color. In fact, no, they did have like a navy blue dark color as well. Those were some older ones. Okay, anyhow, this was the answer. Let's see who guessed last week's Naked Hardware. I have them here. We had 2 guesses. I don't know if they're watching tonight. Oh, and there. No DTP, a WatchGuard firewall. He did put hashtag Naked Hardware in the following tweet, so that was correct. Very cool. So I'm going to reach out to you and let you know that you won. I don't know if you're in chat. That one, sorry, I'm going to pull it back up. That one was at 10:04 on May the 12th, and the second place winner came in at around 10:10, if my timestamps are correct. And here we go. Very cool. The Firebox. So very cool. Everybody, great job.
You're on the ball with those tonight.
They actually work. Jordan, I'm always on the ball with them. They just don't work most of the time. You know what it is?
Sure.
I got that gig fiber.
That's what it was. You tried to blame it on my connection. I'm just going to remind you. I remember. I haven't forgotten. It was your lousy connection. I wish my connection is lousy at times, but no, I don't think so.
This is this week's Naked Hardware. This one, again, submission from the Network Collective community member. I believe this one probably came from the I would call it the bunch or the pack that Preston sent me. I think this is a Preston one. Preston, I need you to check before you guess. If this is your own, you can't guess. All right, there it is right there. I'll have that tweeted out shortly. All right, so this is our Naked Hardware image. Yeah, very interesting. I'm going to pull it away.
You mean I have to go look on Twitter?
I'll have that tweeted out from the Network Collective Twitter account at Net Collective PC, and you'll see it there. And please reply to that tweet with hashtag Naked Hardware. That's how I search for the answers. So if you don't reply with the hashtag, I might not see your answer.
So there you go. So Tony, anything else you want to talk about?
So that one was Preston's. He says in chat. Yeah. No, man, it was a great show. It's good chatting with you again. I'm glad you guys got out with the family, went down to Assateague. That's awesome. Yeah. You got to let me know the next time you do something like that. You know, we'll see each other in passing. Maybe I'll head out to OC.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all I got, man. Work is busy. Loving life.
Loving life. Cool.
You know what? Actually, I'm trying to upgrade my blog. I currently deploy it on GitHub pages. I use Jekyll static site generator, and I'm trying to sort of write some custom Ruby code to do some things for me. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm terribly fumbling at that, but hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll have a nice sort of refresh, have a couple of new features on the blog site. So I want to get back to writing more blogs, but I kind of have this as the long pole in the tent. I want to get the blog site tuned up before I publish the new blogs. So hopefully coming soon to a blog near you.
Very nice. If you are, I think, again, most people who are watching are familiar, but if you're watching today and you are not familiar with Network Collective, you can find all of our stuff at networkcollective.com. We have 4 years worth of content there, lots of podcasts, lots of other things that are there that are worth checking out. We're at Net Collective PC on Twitter. You can find us as Network Collective on Facebook and LinkedIn. And if you really like the stuff that we do and you think that this was fun and being part of the community sounds like something you'd like to do, definitely check out what it means to be a supporter of the show. So we have a means to support the show, just a few bucks a month, a bit to say thanks, to help us keep things running. And when you do that, you get access to our Slack, which is a lot of fun. And a lot of the people who are on chat are in Slack. And so we do this all the time. And then we just move the conversation out here for the live stream when we do the live stream, and then it goes back to the Slack. So if you want more than just every Wednesday, that's where to go. Just go to networkcollective.com, find anything that says support and click on it, and it will give you more details. I think that's it. Tony, always a blast, man.
That's it, Jordan.
That's it.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. Watching. And see you next week, we hope.
I think so. Maybe.
I think so.
We'll figure that out. know why not, but yeah, probably, maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, Wednesday, 8 p.m. next week. Sure.
Wednesday.
All right. See you then.